Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about a few articles that I've seen around. One recently, which is that everyone is entitled to a university degree, and there's, I guess, two reasons that appear to be put forward for this. One is or three reasons really, the equality or equity of outcome. Everybody has a degree, because if only some people have a degree and not others, then how do we know that it's not because of some form of racism or misogyny or oppression or Nazi, fascist or Hitler? How do we know it's not that? We don't know why these people are not getting degrees, why some get degrees and some don't. We pretend that we don't know why. We pretend that we just don't understand why. Studies are shown, but we just can't quite nail the reason. So given that we don't know, it must be because of fucking fascism. That's why it is. So we have to force the equity, we have to force the equality by doing whatever we have to do. So the university degree makes people feel good. It makes them an equal of the straight white males. It makes them an equal of the people who worked hard to earn their degree, clever people who worked hard to earn their degree. It makes the dumbest, laziest, stupidest moron the equal of the hardest working, brightest person. They're both equal. And who to say one human is not as equal as the other? Is that what you're saying, are not equal? You damn fucking fascist Nazi Hitler. So we can create that equality by making sure that everyone has a degree. So there's that. But also it's because the disproportionate amount of straight white males who have degrees versus the minorities, such as blacks and Hispanics and whatever, or even women that don't. So we just have to create a situation where we lower the entrance requirements into university so that there are no entrance requirements, and then we lower the requirement to get a degree so there are no requirements to get a degree, so that everyone can have one. And that's really what equality is all about. That's equity. That is giving people, because if you have these straight white males with a degree and they're self-confident and so on, we see their self-confidence, we see their self-assurance. Now, some say it's because they've worked hard, studied hard, they know their subject, they're expert in their subject, and that's why they passed, that's why they got a degree, and that's why they're confident within their area of expertise. No, it's not that. It's the confidence of fascist Nazis. That's what it is, because they only act confident and self-assured in order to make minorities and brown and black people feel bad about it. So see, it's a plot to make the minorities feel bad. So we're not going to let them get away with that. So we're going to make sure everyone has a degree, so those guys can't be so self-assured. If everyone's got a degree, then everyone's going to be confident and self-assured. No, it's not that way it works. They're confident and self-assured because they worked hard and studied and became expert. No, it's not that. They're confident and self-assured because they're trying to make us feel bad because they're fucking Nazis. That's why. Now we're going to fight back against those Nazis. Okay, got it. So this idea that, and here's this article I've got in front of me now. I copied and pasted a couple of paragraphs out of it. That it says, well, look, if everyone's got a degree, then everyone will be equal. But because everyone isn't equal, some people are brighter, some people are harder working, all that sort of stuff. We should just dispense with all standards, requirements, and passes and grades and exams and anything like that, any sort of measurement at all, and just give everyone a degree. But what if someone doesn't actually turn up or doesn't come? Who cares? Give them a fucking degree. It reminds me of these insane nutcase African dictators that come up where they'll get themselves like military uniforms and they'll call themselves Field Marshal General or something, and they'll have their chest full of medals and epaulets and braids and and they'll swan around requiring everyone to salute them as yes sir, General. And there's no army, there's no nothing. It's all been invented, but they have these visions and dreams of greatness and glory and so on. So they said, well, if they think in these simplistic childlike terms, as indeed do the activists around the university, to say, well, I want the prestige of a great general. I mean, think about the adulation these great generals, battlefield generals who've won great battles and that sort of. Think how what the prestige they have and the glory and the adulation and all this sort of stuff. I want that. So how can I get that? Well, screw the battles. Screw the 10 years in military academy. That's all bullshit. I'll just put on the uniform, put on the medals, and I'm the same as them. There's no difference. We're both the same. And it's that same sort of lunatic, childlike attitude. and you say, no, it's not happening. This could only be happening in a world of fantasy. The Alice in Wonderland type thing where the reality doesn't exist, and it's a world of total fantasy. And that's really sort of where we're at. And these things they want to do these same sort of things with prestigious, well-paid jobs. Why should prestigious, well-paid jobs go to people who know what they're doing, who've had 20 years of experience in their field and this and that? And so why should we worry about it? It's a mere detail. Just put on the uniform, put on a chest full of medals, and call yourself the Field Marshal General. That's all that matters. And the reality, hey, who cares? And so that'll create equity and equality and all the good stuff. And there's quite a few articles about that. But these people who are, the activists, I mean, the simpler ones, I'm sure, sort of do believe it in some twisted, perverted way. It will create equality. But they're not wanting to create equality of bringing the people from the bottom up. They're wanting to create a form of equality where they kill everyone at the top, which is very communist. And this is something the Soviets were doing. Anyone who had a degree that they had actually earned, following the revolution in 1917, anyone who had a degree like a Western degree or even a local degree from one of the most prestigious university that was strictly pass or fail, anyone who had a degree that was viewed as what they called a class enemy. So they made other people feel bad about themselves. And so they had to make these people, they had to humiliate them, like, make them become gardeners. They had to work in someone's garden as a gardener, or they had to work as a street sweeper or something like that, just to humiliate and crush them and let them know you have no power, you have no say, you have nothing. You may have a real degree, you may have all these real qualifications and so on, but you're now a class enemy of the people, and we're going to humiliate the shit out of you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And I think this is where we're going. Well, not I think where we're going. We are heading this way, where the globalists and the government, Western governments, they control. Their sole mission pretty soon will be to just humiliate and crush all straight white males, not in any covert sense anymore, but to actually get right in the face of the straight white males and just say, you're an enemy of globalization and we will crush you. We're going to humiliate you all. We're going to give you shit jobs, sweeping the floor of the street or something like that. And your boss is going to be an angry, brutal black lesbian who's going to treat you like shit, and we won't stop the black lesbian from treating it's like heading in that direction. I know that's a dystopian sort of vision there, but I've seen these sort of work groups on the trains. I don't take the trains very often, so I tend to sort of be alert and looking around, and I see squads of cleaners come on where it's all mostly older, but straight white males, and some of them look a bit retarded actually, but straight white males with the brutal, angry, acid-tongued Asian chick who's screaming at them and with derision and and everything just short of pure abject hatred in the way she talks to them, and they scurry around terrified of her. I'm looking at this thing, holy fuck, is this where it's going? But that's the university. So now another thing they want to do is instead of just saying, well, we'll lower the the entrance to the university to zero, and we'll give you a degree for doing nothing. The language they're using, and I'll just actually quote some of it now, is that really to get into university and to get a degree, academic results. I mean, who the fuck cares? Academic results are the language of Nazis. So we have to, we're changing the world. We're socially re-engineering the world. Why the fuck should we have to do what those Nazis did? So what really should happen is that people should focus on, the focus on coming into university and getting degrees should focus on things like how many climate change protests they attend, so they can show how much they environmentally care. These are the things that they should be judged on, and these are things you can just have a little verbal thing with a very politically correct little committee to say, I love the environment, all Nazis are bad. Fucking, you got a degree. You got a degree, sister. The degree is yours. So they want that, and even to mention this article saying, well, low IQ people or dumb people feel like failures because they can't have a degree, because there are certain standards that apply in university, again, to get in and to get a degree. So because of these standards, low IQ people feel like failures, and that is wrong. That is wrong. We can't allow that. We can't have people with an IQ of 70 not getting a degree in the same way, say, someone of an IQ of 150 would get, because that's wrong. That's why it's just bad. It's just somehow evil. I don't know how I feel that it's so. So what it is that we can't have that because it's non-inclusive. If an IQ 70 person isn't getting the same outcome at university as an IQ 150 person, then that means that we don't have an inclusive society. If we don't have an inclusive society, then we have a fascist society. If we have a fascist society, we have a Nazi society. And if we have a Nazi society, we have a society that's run by Hitler. So what we have to do is the IQ 70 person must have exactly the same equal outcome with the IQ 150 person. And only then will we know that we have a fair society. So these are sort of things that they're pushing around, and they want to extend this into job interviews and things like that. Well, why should you need to know anything about anything in a job interview given all the information is available on the internet? So who the fuck needs to know anything? What you do need is to just make sure the interviewers understand how much you hate Nazis. That is it. Once you do that, how you believe in inclusion and how you dream of the day when a black lesbian will be the world president and that sort of thing, that's fine. That is it. So that you have the right sort of woke credentials and attitudes. And if you display that, even if you don't know anything, you're not qualified, you've got no relevant experience, that's really all that's important. So, and what's your credentials, Billie Jean? I hate Nazis. Bingo, job's yours. And it's almost that absurd what they're proposing. But there's actually a point to this because information is available on the internet. So what needed to be retained, in your memory, that needed to be retained, you don't need that so much anymore. And I think that's changed the entire nature of memorizing data and memorizing details and so on. Still is handy in certain circumstances, but it is true that there is so much information on the internet that you can access that sometimes knowing things or remembering things or needing to remember things isn't an issue. But this concept of actually, I've interviewed, over the years, many people, particularly, it's not so much males, like straight white males still trying to remember things, but interviewing for sort of training engineers and things like that. The straight white males know their shit. And I remember in one instance we were giving them a series of sort of questions like, some of it wasn't that hard, sort of volumetric stuff, like if you got to dig a hole, 3 meters deep by 10 meters long by this or that, and give the dimensions, how many cubic meters of earth you're going to, that sort of thing. So stuff that was reasonably, but a few other things, but pretty basic stuff and the overall scheme of things. And they, the boys, I think every one of them got, just thinking of one particular, every one of them got it, with the girls, none of them got it. And not only did they not get it, they were quite put out that they should be asked. Why are you asking me questions? Why are you testing my knowledge? If you're testing my knowledge, you must be a Nazi. And they'd already had their heads filled with this woke nonsense that any sort of requirement to be held to an independent standard was an act of fascism in itself. And why do I have to know that? I don't have to know that. Who cares? I hate Nazis. That's all that matters. And well, they didn't say that, but there was this attitude that they were entitled to the role because I'm a woman. Women have been oppressed for centuries. Therefore, you must give this to me. Same attitude with the black thing about handouts, and you got to give me free this and free that because of slavery and that sort of thing. So this attitude of equal outcomes is that it's permeating into all areas of business and academic, life and everything, and it's getting. I think from where I'm saying it's accelerating. I mean, the amount of people that I meet just in business now. I own a share in a business, but I wasn't really doing much with it. I was just an investor rather than a worker. But there's been some people coming and going, and then I've seen it as a golden opportunity to get a close up look at how business is, and I'm staggered by the poor quality of people that I'm meeting. There's affirmative action hires everywhere. People that you wouldn't piss on, and yet they're being not only gifted quite decent jobs, but they're being promoted to jobs that are light years beyond their capacity, and they've got these terrible, angry, chip on shoulder attitudes. Oh fuck! And I never remember it like this years ago. I could count on people. If they had a certain job, they would know what they're doing. Sure, there were exceptions, and you come across people and you go, "Gee, how did that guy get that job?" But the point, most of them did, and this is particularly the difference between how it was then and how it is now. Where I know when I go into to a meeting or any situation, if it's not a straight white male, I know 99% sure that it's going to be someone who's an affirmative action hire that's been promoted way out of their abilities or capacities. But this is where it's going. You've been with, thank you. You've been with Tacitus today at your pushback channel, and if I can end the stream.